Point today, we host a masterclass on the importance of great customer service. Customer satisfaction can either grow or stunt your business. So research shows that a customer is 4 times more likely to switch to a competitor if the issue is service related as opposed to product or price related. More than 80% of consumers say a good customer experience can turn them into a one-time buyer or a loyal customer. Our masterclass leader on this topic this week is Silas Matlala. He's an entrepreneur as well as a lecturer at the Gordon Institute of Business Science, or GIBS. Langelihle Ndlovu edited the following insert. Silas Matlala says there's a rapid movement in the entrepreneurship space. The pandemic itself has presented many people with the opportunity to start businesses as job insecurity prevailed. While entrepreneurship can be fulfilling, it is not without its challenges. Matlala says irrespective of the stage of business, customer centricity is important.
Customer centricity is actually really the philosophy that a business, or the mindset that a business has to adopt to say, how do I really put the customer at the center of what I'm doing? And it's really a mindset to be customer centric instead of being product or process or business centric. It starts with the customer.
Matlala lists the reasons why some business owners do not prioritize the satisfaction of the customer.
I don't have a job, I don't have opportunities, let me try and open a salon, let me try and open a mechanical service, let me try and open an eatery because I can cook, let me try and open school transportation, because those are small businesses predominantly in there. And because of that survival mode, we tend to think short term. We tend to think short term. We see business from a transaction point of view, how much money I can extract, and that seems to be the motivator.
He takes us through the fundamentals of good customer service that every business should take into consideration.
One, you are the business owner, okay? If you are the business owner, I think one of the key aspects is be present. That's key. It's be present. It's your baby. It's your passion, it's your dream. Be present, so showing up. 2, it's about acknowledging customers. There's a difference between knowing customers and hearing customers. But the word acknowledgement means if there's a complaint, the least that I can do is to acknowledge it. Even before we can go into problem-solving mode, what's the issue? Is it? I hear you. I acknowledge it. It just shows respect. First of all, do not overpromise. Secondly, live up to the promise. Follow through. What happened to humility? It doesn't cost you money. Humility, and the humility is the ability to say, we are wrong. We got it wrong. We're gonna fix it. If I apologize to you, even as a human being, if I apologize to you, what's next? You can't be. What do you expect me to do? You can't expect me to go underneath my foot. Go underneath my foot. I am wrong. And maybe this is the trick of the trade. There is no better way to disarm an angry, agitated, ready to throw their toys customers by saying, I am sincerely sorry. Every business, every type of business have got what we call table stakes. When I mean about table stakes, it's non-negotiable. If you are running a bakery, if you are running a confectionery business, the table stakes would be a clean environment, a safe environment, an accessible environment, so meet the table stakes, if I may say that, if I may call it. So, and I think all of those 5 interchangeably and iteratively, they work together to deliver what I term a excellent customer service.
Matlala cautions about the attitude of staff and forcing yourself to expand rapidly as opposed to a steady and sustained expansion. Lastly, he says treating customers like royalty will never go out of fashion.
Treat every customer as a potential advocate to go spread the word. And ask yourself a question. What is it that I'm going to do, say, or make them feel that is going to make them talk about, recommend me further? Yeah. And I think that's it. I mean, word of mouth, recommendation, advocacy is the cheapest and the most effective form of advertising that we can get.
Liabo Setho, SABC News, Johannesburg. Thank you so much to our Masterclass leader, Silas Matlala from Gibbs, for being our Masterclass leader and sharing those tips on good customer service. Do you have any tips on the best practices in customer service? Please reach out to us on our Facebook page as well as our Instagram page. Our handle is at SME OnPoint. We'd really love to hear what you are doing to keep your customers happy. So small businesses need more than just government support. They need practical solutions to enable them to access markets. President Ramaphosa has announced a range of reforms that will seek to help small businesses navigate regulatory as well as legal frameworks. But AdBot said while reducing red tape will make businesses easier for thousands of small business owners, they are still at a disadvantage when it comes to accessing markets. AdBot helps startup founders to advertise on platforms such as Google Ads. Let's chat to the CEO of AdBot, Michelle Greer. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us on SME OnPoint. First of all, can I hear your views just briefly about customer service and the importance of giving great customer service? As you may have seen that it is our masterclass topic today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think customer service is critical. We call it the leaky bucket. If you get more and more customers with your funding, but you still don't have that service to keep them there, it does mean that they are going to drop out of the bucket and not really have a sustainable business due to it. So I totally agree with all the points raised. Customer service is absolutely critical.
And while we are busy on customer service, you definitely need access to markets. There is no point in having a business but no one to sell your products to. And while you say, as AdBot, that government is working very hard to help small businesses with all range of legislation and policy, but the most important thing that small business is access to market. How do you think we can do this using technology, for instance?
Yes, so 2/3 of startups in South Africa fail within the first 2 years, and almost a quarter of these guys have marked down that access to markets is a bigger challenge to funding, right? And online advertising is the perfect kind of opportunity to do that. But unfortunately, because of the means of getting into online advertising, the means to do online advertising, it is really complex and admin intensive and time consuming. And those are really commodities that SMMEs don't have. An SMME is time starved and budget starved, right? So using technology like automation, and we're already doing it in our financial elements where finance is capturing our invoices, capturing our slips that we use, using more of those types of automation. In our case, we use automation to do your Google Ads for you. I think using technology like that frees you up in order to focus on your business rather than doing the administration tasks and pinning yourself down doing that.
Yeah. Michelle, we have the budget speech coming up next week on the 23rd, where we're expecting the finance minister to table the budget, and hopefully therein we can hear, what plans he has or government has for helping small businesses to access markets. What do you think they are the world's best practices that they can do as government to assist in this regard?
I think we're definitely going to see some financial support, and I think that that's absolutely fantastic. But what I would really, really love to see is the practical support for SMMEs, practical supports on their day-to-day challenges. For example, how to manage finance, how to advertise, how to access new markets. I think that there is a really big need. For the last 2 years, to claim Google's line, we've been giving SMMEs fish so that they can live for another day. And I think what we really need to do is teach SMMEs to fish so that they can sustain for a lifetime. And I'm hoping that the budget speech is not only going to support with finance, but also support in education and access to these tools such as AdBot or various other tools that makes it easier for SMMEs to manage their businesses.
Yeah, I can imagine that elements such as AdBot or Google advertising and other platforms, they give good algorithms of seeing the take-up of small businesses in order to, to do advertising. What have you seen since we are in this recovery phase and businesses are opening up more? Is it something they're taking on a lot more, or is it still more subdued?
So what's a really interesting thing that happened is over lockdown, obviously a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people out of necessity had to start businesses. And essentially what has happened is people opened online businesses because we didn't have access to physical stores. And if you have an online business, you have to have advertising driving to that business, right? And because of that, we've seen huge amounts of startups, huge amounts of smaller businesses actually looking at advertising online. Now, if you think about Google is so dominant that its name is a verb, and it's synonymous with search, right? And if you think about it, if you're looking for a product or a service, you're going to pick up your phone and you're going to Google it. And it's because of this behavior that this channel is the most important and critical for small and medium-sized businesses. Because it's so difficult to access, people don't make use of it. But to answer your question, I think a lot of people know that Google is the key medium for small and medium-sized businesses, and we've seen a huge uptake in advertising online.
Yeah, Michelle Greer is the CEO of AdBot, and she was speaking to us about what more interventions small businesses need besides policy interventions, that it's more market to access that we need as small businesses. And hopefully, you have other ideas on how you can access markets. There's the Africa Continental Free Trade Area where we are hoping that small businesses, be able to expand into the rest of the continent. Do you have a topic on this, or do you have thoughts on this? Please share those with us on our Instagram as well as our Facebook page at SME OnPoint. We'd really love to hear what your thoughts are with regards to that. This is all from SME OnPoint for this week. Please remember to support small businesses in your communities and around your areas, and keep those rands and cents circulating. More news with my colleague Nompumelelo Siziba.